Hello, wherever you are. This is Martin. I wish to talk about poultry farming, specifically poultry diseases. I hope you're going to enjoy this lesson as we travel together. Now, what is a disease? A disease is any physiological condition in an organism that causes malfunctioning of parts or of the organism or the whole organism. When I'm talking about malfunctioning, it means that the organism ceases to function, or maybe the organs. For instance, I'll use an example of a human being. You have the hands, the finger fails to function, or maybe the arm fails to function, or maybe the entire hand fails to function. Or when it comes to the head, the brain fails to function, or maybe the skull fails to function, or maybe the entire body fails to function. That one will say you are deceased. A condition whereby the brain fails to function, or the arm, or the fingers, or maybe the entire organism, that is the whole you as a human being, is termed as a physiological condition. Now, when it comes to poultry, most of these birds that we keep are affected by diseases, and some of these diseases are very deadly, and they are caused by virus, others are caused by bacteria, others are caused by fungi, and others are caused by physiological conditions like the hygiene around physical environment can also lead to the spread of diseases. So I'll take you through some of the deadly diseases in poultry. Number one, we have the AI disease, or the avian influenza disease. These are contagious disease that is majorly caused by viruses. And you know very well that viruses don't have any cure in this environment of ours. So what are some of the signs of this viral disease? Number one, we'll realize that the birds will encounter sudden death. Most of the birds you have in the farm will be dying. The reason being the virus infects and kills all the organs in the poultry body. And then when you look at the head will be swollen, the comb will also be swollen, the wattles will also be swollen, and then the bird will be having a condition of coughing and sneezing anyhowly. And then in case they were laying eggs, maybe you are rearing layers, there is a sudden egg production. So the avian influenza is a very deadly disease, and you can control it by limiting people from accessing to your farm, and you are advised to disinfect the equipment you use, that is the feeders and waterers, and if possible have a water bath at the entrance of the poultry house. And then any new bird you are introducing to your poultry coop, make sure you impose a quarantine to heat. You can also vaccinate the birds against this AI disease, and then you are advised to report the outbreaks to any veterinary authorities, because this disease can spread just like HIV. Viruses are spread through those infections. So you are also advised not to take the meat from these birds, because the virus can spread to you as a human being. Number two diseases I'm going to talk about is Newcastle disease, that is the ND, which is caused by virus also, and it affects the respiratory system. The birds will have a challenge in coughing and whatever. It also affects the nervous system and the digestive system. So it's a very deadly disease compared to the AI disease. The ND disease causes the twisting of the neck, a condition called torticollis, and the neck now twists on one side like this, so the bird looks like it is paralyzed. So paralysis is also another condition. You just find your birds lying in the farm as a result of paralysis and tremors. Then when you look at the diarrhea, it's mainly green in color, reason being the digestive tract has been affected. Sudden drop in feed and water intake is also another sign and symptom you can realize from the birds which are affected by Newcastle disease. How do we control this? It's very simple. A routine vaccination of the birds. You can also do isolation of those birds that are affected. You can also disinfect their housing, and you are advised to avoid contact with wild birds such as the marabou stock, because they are the greatest spreaders of this disease. What else can you do? Avoid taking meat from infested birds. Number three disease I'll talk about is fall cholera, or other people do call it fall typhoid, maybe in human beings, but in birds we have fall cholera. Fall cholera is a bacterial disease caused by a bacteria known as Pasturella maltocida, Pasturella maltocida. These are very deadly bacteria that causes swollen wattles and joints. When you look at the joints of the poultry, you'll realize that they have swollen signs. Then you just realize that this is fall cholera disease, and the wattles have swollen because of the birds are coughing a lot. And then there is a mucus being discharged in the mouth and the nose. You realize the mucus is very intense, whitish, and then of course what will happen? The birds will automatically die. I can see someone is trying to text me here. The mucus, the cough and the discharge are the ones which are going to cause sudden death, because the birds are undergoing dehydration. In other words, so when they are dehydrated, the body, the immune system will be weakened, so the birds will automatically die. Then you can control it easily, because this is a bacterial disease. Bacterial diseases are controlled, unlike the viral diseases. You can give the birds antibiotics, but seek guidance from the veterinaries, and then you can vaccinate them against this disease, as well as you can control the access of rodents to the poultry coops. If not rodents, you can control the access of any wild animal or wild bird into the poultry coops, the mongoose, all those. You can also improve sanitation and drainage around your house. Make sure that the housing condition is well prepared. I mean, nothing to do with that, all those. So the housing condition should be well. Then we have coccidiosis, which is another deadly disease. This is a protozoan disease, and protozoans are like parasites. I don't know, something like parasites. And this protozoan specifically, it's called Eimera species, affecting the intestines. So whenever the intestines are affected, it means we are going to have a challenge with digestion. So what are some of the signs and symptoms you can look at and say this bird is affected? Number one, look at the bloody droppings. The poultry droppings will be having blood, and then the birds will be very weak, and then they will be losing a lot of weight. Maybe, for instance, the first week you weighed, they were 1.5 kg. The next week you will find they have lost around 100 grams, so they will be at around 1.4 kg instead of adding the weight. And then we will have ruffled feathers. Their feathers will be ruffled all the way. And then the chicks, when you look at them, they will have a very slow growth rate, or we can say poor growth rate in chicks. How do you control them? We can use anticoccidial drugs, because I told you the only diseases that are very deadly to control are virus infections. Viral infections are very difficult to control. It's like HIV and AIDS, but all these other diseases we can control them by developing maybe antibacterial or anticoccidial diseases. Anticoccidial drugs. But for virus, we have to find another virus which will use it for vaccination as a preventive measure. So the next thing, you can vaccinate the bird You can ensure that your housing condition is very clean. You maintain hygiene in your poultry house. And then any other disease that another disease, that affects poultry is called the Marek's disease. Though this one is not common, but it's a viral disease that causes paralysis in legs, and then causes tumors in organs, as well as blindness. You realize that your birds are blind, they can't see well. The results shows that the birds have been affected by this disease. How do you control them? You just uh, do vaccination. Thank you for your time. May you keep in touch for more videos on poultry farming like this.